Hello there, I'm Lady Loy, and I tend to do videos on all different kinds of subjects, but most of my common theme is that I hope whatever I talk about is helpful, informative. So today I wanted to talk about our behavior having consequences. And it was brought about, funnily enough, by Ireland. Apparently, they had concrete defect. All the concrete blocks in a certain area were defective. And so it meant the houses were crumbling and now they have to be demolished. And families have been moved out, especially elderly people. They've been moved out from retirement homes. Some of them have dementia. Some of them have been there for years just waiting, hoping that it would be their resting place. And so it kind of brought up a lot of different issues for me. And so that is why I've kind of put this message on two other different platforms because I think it's really important. So this is the message I've chosen for you from Lady Loy. Remember, I'm on tonight actually, Fridays 7 till 9 on Lovers Rock Radio, Saturdays 7 till 9 on Gold Standard Radio, and then you can catch me on Mixcloud/Lady Loy, Lady Dash Loy, and on Mixcloud/Gold Standard Radio. So let's get on with the show. And I've just been reminded of something. Let me see if I can do this. When people are given responsibility for something that affects other people's lives, there is a moral responsibility attached to that position. We are all building things that other people have to live with. If you are responsible for checking something, check it. If you're responsible for protecting people, protect them. If you discover that something is unsafe, don't bury the information because dealing with it is inconvenient or expensive, because somebody else may end up paying the price for your failure to do what you were supposed to do. And that applies to ordinary life as well. The way you treat your children becomes a part of the foundation they carry into adulthood. The way you treat your partner becomes part of the foundation of your relationship. The promises you make become a part of another person's expectations. The things you repeatedly say to somebody can become part of the way they see themselves. So we need to think about what kind of building material we are putting into other people's lives. Are we giving people truth or are we giving people lies? Are we giving them consistency or are we giving them confusion? Are we giving them encouragement or are we constantly knocking them down? Are we giving them safety or making them walk on eggshells? Are we taking responsibility when we hurt people, or are we always finding somebody else to blame? Our behaviour has consequences. We don't always see those consequences immediately, but that doesn't mean they aren't there. And perhaps the most important thing about Psalm 40 verse 2 asks us to do is to examine our own foundation before we worry about everybody else's. Remember the splinter and the plank in the eye? Look underneath your life. What are you actually standing on? What do you believe will keep you secure? What happens to you when something doesn't go according to plan? What happens when somebody says no to you? What happens when somebody leaves? What happens when you don't have enough money? What happens when you don't receive the praise you expected? What happens when you realize you are getting older? And what happens when you are no longer needed in the way you once were? And that happens with a lot of parents who dote on their children, and then their children up and leave and they have nothing. Instead of building a foundation so that when the children leave, they have something, they're left with nothing but themselves. And then they become resentful. Oh, I spent all my life doing this. I sacrificed this. I sacrificed that. I know a family where one of the children is always saying to their mother, find a partner, get a friend, do something with your life, because he knows that he'll soon be leaving and he wants to leave his mother. He doesn't want to have to worry about his mother. But she refuses. She is dedicating as though putting 100% in your children is a good or godly thing to do. It's not. It's about leading them so that they can find their own way, make their own path, build their own foundation. And once you've done that, you've done your job. But for many parents, they hold on to their children. And when their children leave, the foundation underneath them is gone. So those moments can reveal the foundation. And sometimes the answer isn't pleasant. Sometimes you discover that you have been standing on something that wasn't capable of carrying you. But don't worry too much, because once you discover, admit, acknowledge, whatever it is, it can be the beginning of something much better, because you cannot build properly until you know what needs rebuilding. Sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is admit this isn't working. Stop decorating the cracks. Stop making excuses for the person who keeps hurting you. Stop pretending that the relationship is healthy because you don't want to start again. Stop telling yourself that you are fine when you know you are not. Stop building another floor on top of our foundation that is already weak and is struggling to carry the weight. And if you have discovered that you have been standing in mud, Psalm 40 verse 2 gives you somewhere to turn. David doesn't say, I pulled myself out because I was strong enough. He says, God brought him out. Then God set his feet upon a rock. Then God established his goings. There is progression there is progression that I find very comforting. You can be in a mess and still have a future. You can discover that something you trusted was defective and still build again. You can lose a home and still have a life. You can lose a relationship and still have love. You can lose a job and still have purpose. You can make a terrible decision and still learn from it. You can come out of something that nearly broke you and become wiser about what you build next. And perhaps that is what I would like you to take away from this story. Don't just ask whether something looks good. Ask whether it is sound. Don't just ask whether somebody says the right things. Look at their character. Don't just ask whether a relationship feels good. Ask whether there is honesty, respect, consistency, and trust underneath it. And don't just ask whether you are successful. Ask whether you are building a life that you can actually stand inside. And don't wait until the storm comes to discover what your foundation is made of. Build it properly now, because storms come to everyone. Life will test all of us at some point. And when it does, we need more than appearances. We need something solid underneath us. David found himself in a pit, but the pit wasn't where he stayed. God brought him out of the miry clay, and put his feet upon a rock and established his going. So if you are finding yourself on shaky ground today, don't be frightened by the fact that you have finally noticed the cracks. Pay attention to them. Deal with what is underneath. Ask God to show you what needs to change, and then let him establish your feet somewhere solid. And that is my message for you today. Basically, in short, make sure you know that you're not relying on other people. You're not relying on one thing. That's why they say some people, you need to have different streams of income, because when you only rely on one income and that income goes, you're lost. It means building your friendships. So if one friend goes, you still have something to turn to. And it matters in all different aspects of your life. Don't just rely on one thing. Build a foundation that will hold you. And my foundation is God. My foundation is my faith. And that's what I leave with you. Take care of yourself, take care of each other. Until the next time.